So I had to end that last one kind of quick, sorry about that. So let's take another look at dilutions real quick. So the last one we just talked about, we figured out that 60 milliliters plus 1 deciliter of water gave us a 1 to 2.66 dilution. And at first that always seemed weird to me. How can I have a fraction and a decimal mixed together? The point is I need to get that denominator of my fraction to be an actual number that I can work with. So if I end up with a 1 on top and a 2.66 on the bottom, I can use that 2.66 as my dilution factor. So let's go ahead and work through another one of these guys. So number 3 kind of works backwards, so I'm going to create one for you right here. So let's say that I'm working in the lab and I take a patient sample. Let's say this is a glucose level that I'm running. I run it on my machine and I get an error that says, hey, this is greater than 500 milligrams per deciliter. So let's pretend or assume that my instrument couldn't measure greater than 500. So I can go ahead and take my patient, and let's say that I take 10 microliters of patient sample and I add 90 microliters of diluent. So a lot of times people look at that and say, oh, that's a 1 to 9 or a 10 to 90 dilution. But remember, I need to add these together. So I add 10 microliters plus 90 microliters, and I get a total of 100 microliters. So then when I look at this, this is actually a 10 to 100 or a 1 to 10 dilution. So I know that my dilution factor now is going to be 10. So I might have a situation like this where I dilute my patient by adding 10 microliters of patient sample to 90 microliters of diluent. I run it on my instrument and I get a value of 75 milligrams per deciliter. Well, if I ran my diluted sample and I got 75 milligrams per deciliter, I know that the actual concentration, or the concentration in my patient sample without diluting it, is going to be much higher than that. That's where the dilution factor comes in. So this bottom number, that's the dilution factor, is what I use to multiply what the instrument gave me to give me the actual concentration. So in this example, I would multiply this out and I see, hey, my actual patient concentration was 750 milligrams per deciliter.